Yeah, still kind of crappy weather here. Yuck. Anyway, hello. Yes, it's me again. Anyway, I thought I'd do a response to Professor Anton, and he left a comment. Okay, it's not a video, just a comment. Like he does, though. First, he misquotes me as saying that life didn't happen, on Earth. Evolution, yeah, the whole thing didn't happen because I claim it's an improbable event. So that means the same thing as saying it didn't happen, which, isn't what I said. But anyway, the problem is this determinism thing. This is a problem for people. So apparently you can't say something about what would be. You can't use a would kind of example of a permutation or an example of, let's see. I mean, it is part of the context. In theory, in a deterministic universe, everything is, decided at the Big Bang, or whenever you can establish something like a first cause. And we can't even say that's the first cause. Who knows? Maybe there was never a first cause. But that's not the question I really want to get to. The point is this is just all kind of used as an excuse. Washing machine. Mine's only useful in the summer because it's outside. So it is kind of a convenience not to have neighbors, so I can use this washing machine then. Anyway, I gotta fix that ceiling. Ugh. A lot of work to do, and I haven't done it yet. Look at that mess they left this place, though. Slobs. Pigs. Yeah, I should talk, but man, what bullshit. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, determinism. I mean, the fact that it's a perceptual problem. Okay, yeah, I'm making this much more complicated than it needs to be. But see, that's the problem. It's hard to get a handle on it because of these problems that we have with words. Because as soon as I say something like, it's like how quantum destroyed the word probability and made it some sort of function rather than just something that's a product of the capacity, our inability to see all the influences and understand exactly what's happening. Everything's an inevitability, but it's probable because of our limitations. And there's no true randomness, so this creates a problem. But our language is still stuck, with us being humans. So we use a common kind of language, and that cheats a little. So like we have words like random and spontaneous, even though there aren't random and spontaneous events. It's kind of cold in here. I don't know if the heater's on or off. I better go check. Not that it needs to be on, but I was going to make the video over here, and it's cold. It's definitely a website video. Sorry. It looks dry down there, but it must have turned off. This pipe is warm. Weird. Very weird. What's your problem, furnace? Huh? Why aren't you clicking on? Somebody turn the plug off or something? I didn't do it. Weird. Alright, anyway, I'll have to figure that out. More trouble. Turn this switch on, see if that makes any difference. Apparently nut. Oh, this motor's cooked again. Fuck. Excuse my French, but damn it. Shit. It's looking like it. Fuck. Excuse me, but damn. Goddamn pieces of shit. Oh, there's a plug. It's disconnected. Ha This might be the problem. What am I plugging into? What the hell would this be? What the hell is that? What's going to happen if I plug this in? Somebody have a guess? What the hell could this possibly be a plug to? Well, I'll plug it in and see what happens. Yeah, the plug to the furnace. Cat must have done it. Damn cats. Yeah, there she goes. Okay, anyway. Alright, you didn't need to see all that shit. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay, back to the subject. That's better. It's much warmer here now. Oh, yeah, not yet. Look what they did to my floor. Fix that. Fuckers. Painted the stupid walls a stupid ugly fucking color. Fuckers. It's dripping. Oh yeah, I left the water run. Don't need to do that anymore. Alright, anyway. Okay. Ooh, part of a cigarette. Ooh, this one's almost whole. Ooh. Might have to steal that. Anyway, couch is horrible. Yeah, there. Okay, now to get to the video. Ignore all that other stuff. Alright, so there's not a conflict between saying something like life is incredibly improbable and accepting determinism. All you're really just saying is that if you could randomize the circumstance, if you could make 10 million Earths, okay, and you put a salty sea on all of them, and you just kind of randomized it in terms of how the sea was arranged, you would find that only in 1 in a million of these seas would a DNA molecule get created. And so then you know what the odds are of it happening, you know, based on just a stirring action, just that much mixing. See how to put it. You could have an event, like a comet could fly into the solar system, and it could have depending on its trajectory, where it came in, it would have completely different effects. I mean, it could have a direct hit on the Earth, or it could have some kind of weird thing where it hits one of the moons of Saturn, and that knocks that moon into another moon, and that moon goes into the Saturn, and Saturn catches fire, and then Saturn becomes gravitational, or some other kind of crap happens, and then Jupiter flies into Saturn, and then there's a conflict between the Sun and this big giant now on fire Saturn-y thing, and the Earth gets pulled into Saturn. I mean, something really bizarre could take place, what seems bizarre, because it required a certain particular circumstance to exist. Now, yes, it was inevitable from whatever the first cause was, that this is what would happen. But the inevitability doesn't change the fact that it is a unique circumstance. Alright, to get to the point. So what Professor Anton, you know, he's playing the game like, what's the odds of life on Earth? Oh, 1 in 1. You know, because there's one Earth and life happened on it. But that's not the reality. The reality is, we know, is there's a bunch of other experiments out there. Even on our own solar system, there's other experiments. The other planets are experiments, and so it's 1 in 9 by that equation. And then we can do other extrapolation to realize that it's got to be a pretty high odds, because nothing in our near galaxy is producing radio waves that we can hear. So none of them have achieved civilization, even though they might have had billions of years head start on us. None of those stars have created Earth-like beasties, or humans. Humans haven't even survived, you know, a very short, brief period of time with this intelligence thing. So that might be a failed experiment. Again, it's an experiment. We're part of it, but yeah, it might not be as durable as a great white shark's tooth. And so I guess that's sort of what I wanted to get to, is that his point is he's trying to make life seem special, like it's on purpose special, like this is what the universe does. Now this is how the universe rusts. This is how the universe oxidizes. This is what happens when chemistry gets trapped in solar systems and stuff, and this can be one of the possibilities. A great white shark's tooth, the whole thing, but it's all based on this DNA reproduction thing. And we don't know how hard that is. We know it's so difficult to create one of those things that we can't create one yet. That the circumstances are so strange and bizarre that we haven't been able to figure it out yet, how to make one. And obviously they haven't been made other places, and they haven't been made a second time on this planet as far as we can tell, because there's no evidence of any competing life form. So there's lots of evidence that this is not the common function of the universe, is to create little complex packets of energy that, you know, chase each other around planets trying to eat each other. You know, and even if it was common, it still wouldn't be the function of the universe. It still wouldn't be the basics. It would be how the universe rots or how the universe decomposes. We're just like bacteria growing on the surface of something, and that's what life is doing. But it's not part of the functionality. The universe doesn't cease to universe if there's no parasites on planet Earth. So it's a consequence of the universe's properties and functionality. It's not the purpose of it. It's not the function of it. And it's not a necessity to it. So where else am I going with this? Yeah, so I guess it's all about this context and perspective, and you got to realize that every animal has attributes, you know, that are special and unique, and you can imagine that they would be improbable to take place on another planet. An assassin bug or a particular kind of spider, and you could say, well, what's the odds if you randomized evolution that you'd come up with that animal again? You come up with the blueprint, I mean the basic functionality of legs, crawl, bite, eat, but the unique characteristics of that beastie would be highly unlikely. And that's just what intelligence is, just another one of these attributes, just another piece of functionality that enables organisms to exploit the environment. And what we know is that a little bit of intelligence is really good, because it allows you to follow footprints and hunt prey and do all kinds of things that would be conducive to you filling your belly, you know, being successful, not getting eaten, and passing on your genetic material. But that's all it's going to get measured by in the end, is by that standard. That's all natural selection cares about, is your success as an eating machine. A great white shark doesn't need to do calculus. He's perfectly successful without it. He doesn't even have to be terribly efficient in his reproduction. He is so well made as a consuming machine. And that's the pattern. That we're the aberration. And this fact that we have acquired this intelligence, there's every indication that we won't survive it, because it enables us to do something like eat our own young or something. It's completely dangerous. So there's lots of animals throughout history that, yeah, they didn't survive because they lost their touch. Like some animal gets on an island, it evolves like a dodo bird, becomes completely defenseless. A new predator shows up, mankind, and wipes it out in 15 minutes. There's lots of examples throughout history of that, and the biggest example is whole classes of animal were destroyed on Earth because they had become suited to an environment, and once that environment changed because of some calamity of whatever cause, meteor or whatever, they were done. They were cooked. They weren't capable of meeting that challenge of facing a harsh environment, and so a bunch of other little critters took dominance. Our ancestors, of course. But anyway, yeah. So this is you can play word games. You can do your little funny. What's the odds of life on Earth? 1 in 1. Yeah, it's a nice little funny thing, but it has nothing to do with the real chemistry problem, wherein that I could make 1 million buckets in the universe and put the slurry of life in those buckets, you know, the chemistry. And the fact is, unless you get darn lucky, you're not going to be able to just stir those buckets and have a living thing pop out. It's a weird, bizarre circumstance that creates this thing, and that's probably the only, you know, the only thing that gives me the tiniest bit of peace of mind is the fact that it probably is preposterously rare. You know, so at least this carnage doesn't take place all over the universe. That prospect it horrifies me, and it just seems amazing that you people can find that comforting somehow. That there'd be a bunch of planets out there in space, still with Tyrannosauruses marching about, gobbling up, you know, ripping things to pieces, blood and flesh all over the place. Horrible parasitic diseases, infestations, all kinds of trauma events, and you're comfortable with that idea, that thought. It just demonstrates that you're just so sold out to the propaganda. There's one of those, call them Jersey mosquitoes. I think aren't they crane flies? Everybody has different names for shit. I have to look this crap up sometime, but they're big. I mean, look, here's my finger. Well, you can't really tell from that. That's a big mosquito, but it's not really a mosquito. Oh, there's another one, dead one. Desiccated little carcass. But yeah, this is life. Life is this desiccating, eating, dying thing. You know, live for 30 days. You know, reproduce and fuck off. This is an insidious thing that we are part of, that we are born by. And you, and you people are just pretending that, no, what this really is the master plan, is that humans show up and the whole thing turns into magic dust. And it's all on purpose because somehow it happened. The fact that it happened means that, oh yeah, it must have been on purpose. It's just, no. There's just a mechanical system that has variable properties, you know, elements, different kinds of material energy arrangements, and through that little bit of difference, you know, if you have 1,000 things, 1,000 characters, you can rearrange them in millions of ways. I mean, that's just the way it works out. There's millions of permutations of unique arrangement, and we're just one of those 1 in a million arrangements, and that's it. We were possible, that's why we exist. We also were inevitable in this iteration of the universe. You know, like I said, who knows what the first cause is? Is the first cause the Big Bang, or is there some other cause and effect chain going back further and further and further into the universe's history? Or is there just a pattern of first causes? Maybe every time the universe collapses, you know, time is destroyed and a truly random event can take place. But who knows? But it doesn't really matter. The fact that it's all determined, it doesn't mean it was determined by an intelligence or that it has any logical foundation. There's nothing logical about spending 4 billion years chasing your relatives trying to eat their ass, or some other vital part of them. No, it's just not the definition of intelligent, especially for the last 2 billion years when those little squigglies have been able to say ouch. So anyway, yeah, this is the kind of subject this is one of those subjects that needs to be written rather than videoed. Because it's the words that are the problem. There is a concept of odds, but you can have it in this context of determinism and inevitability. Just because you're describing what would be if. It's always a what would if kind of circumstance, and we can do that because we can understand that it got here through gazillions of circumstances. We can understand that a beam of light is 1 billion photons. I mean, that's part of Einstein's thing. you know, E equals mc squared. The c squared is the speed of light squared. It's a huge number. There's a ton of little things flying around. Everything. There's a uncountable, you know, preposterously huge number of photons flying through this window. I mean, a Googleplex, a huge number. I don't know what the real number is, but it's goddamn big. And that creates all this inability for us to calculate what's going to happen, because there's too many variables. But it is all inevitable. But again, like I said, all you have to do is change one thing. You change one thing and the world is different. You block this window and it does change things. It changes my brain function because I walked this way and I did this and I did that. This will decide things. So all this stuff is connected to the outcome. And so then you can speculate about, well, what if that didn't happen? What if Charlie Manson died as a 6-year-old? Yeah, there would have been more people alive on Earth. There wouldn't have been the 60s might have been dominated by different politics. Martin Luther King might not have gotten assassinated. Who knows? A whole big, huge bunch of permutations could have come out of that one stupid event. And so that's what I'm talking about. When you talk about odds, you're just talking about what if. But it doesn't mean there's no determinism. Alright, that's probably enough. More than enough. Alright, till next time. Well, I must get the hell out of here. It's cold anyway. I gotta make sure the thermostat isn't burned up. It's weird though. Damn cat unplugging the furnace like that. Cats. I need a little warmer. I'm gonna work in here later. Too damn cold. Okay. Off we go. Hi ho, hi ho. Fix the damn door too. Properly. Ooh, that was a good cigarette there. Left to die in the horrible outdoors. Maybe I can see the tobacco. Yeah. Save that for later. Anyway. Yeah, that's enough. God, it's all wet and snow, and it was really pretty this morning, but I didn't even bother showing you the pretty. God, there's so much junk in that yard. Alright, anyway, enough of that shit. So, till it be delayed tour and whatnot. So forth. Bonus cat footage. Yeah, he climbs up on this thing here. See this thing here? He climbs up on there in the bad weather. I don't know why he does that. I tell him not to. But he doesn't listen to me. Thumbers stays inside of that little cubby there usually. Yeah, you're a bit of a retard, you know that. Come on. He's got a bad leg. I don't like him climbing things. Because then he jumps down. I could screw up his leg worse. Oh, anyway. Oh, so much nicer over here. Yeah. Well, I was just in a cold house over here. You shouldn't complain. Alright. Oh yeah, a little add-on, I guess. Doesn't really matter. Plants are dying. I gotta water them. Anyway.